Hello everyone, this is Moses from Zaatar Gardens. Do a little quick update. Rain's coming supposedly. You can see the thick dark clouds coming in. Hopefully, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to rain that much if it does. We'll start off with the all-in-one almond. Very beautiful tree. If you live in an area that you can grow it, I highly recommend it. A lot of bees. A lot of bees throughout the whole garden right now. Isn't that amazing? This is the Super Dwarf Burgundy Plum, pushing out some flowers. This variety of plums staggers, so you'll see maybe 10 flowers here, a couple right there, and a couple right there. You're thinking, and some up here, you're thinking, oh no, it's going to be, hi Lulu, it's not going to produce much fruit because there's not a lot of flowers. This came a week ago, these flowers. These are still trying to open and still being produced. So it's staggered, and maybe in about 3 days there'll be some flowers showing up over here. Kind of weird actually. Here's the white Babcock peach. You see the flowers right here. Beautiful. All flowers are beautiful to me, but in forms of peaches, the Babcock peach isn't the most beautiful to me. It's very small. You can see how small they are. Not that they're ugly. It's just there's peach flowers that, in my opinion, are a lot better than the Babcock. Just waiting for squirrels. You can see the dirt on the fence right here. That's where she pushes the fence to hopefully knock the squirrels off the fence. Still hasn't worked. Let's see. This is a Santa Rosa plum. Really pretty. In my opinion, the most delicious plum variety in the world. I'll put a link up here. I think it's going to be here or here somewhere, where you can watch an older video about the Santa Rosa plum. This is the Belhem, or I believe another name for it is Royal, but regardless, it's the Belhem. Apricot. Not open yet, unfortunately. I thought this would open already so it could cross-pollinate with the Aprium I have. I'll show you the Aprium in a little bit. You can see all the beautiful flowers. Hopefully the visuals are really coming in. And it'll keep pushing up flowers up there too. Apricots are really slow, in my opinion, in my microclimate. Jujubes still dormant. If you grow jujubes, never prune off these pine cones. They're referred to as pine cones. This is where all the fruit comes from, is right here. All those. There's another one. Olive, nothing interesting. Raspberry patch. Kind of surprised it's not pushing growth. It's still green. There we go. It's trying to push some growth now. Awesome. This is a heritage, and I did an experiment last year where I cut down everything. All this brown, I cut it all the way down. I didn't receive a spring crop like I did the year prior. So I've only grown raspberry for a few years now. I was warned not to because it can spread, because I planted the original raspberries right here, and now it's all over, which I don't mind. It's not crazy, but you gotta keep in mind that it will spread, and not many people mind that because they want more raspberries. But you can see right here it is growing in, so it's gonna produce a lot of good raspberries this spring. Here's a newly planted pink lemonade blueberry. Just beautiful, really. And this is the early Alberta yellow peach that I planted when my daughter was born. It's really trying to push out a lot of bud growth. And I'm going to let it all flower. Will I let it all fruit? Not too sure. I might just keep one or two on because I really want development of the roots instead of fruit right now. So long ago, I did a Tamarillo or tomato tree plant experiment. I'll put a link on the screen right now of a previous video on them. I had one here. I had about I don't know, 20, and I picked 4 of my best ones because they're from Ecuador and they're not really used to this climate. So I had one here, over there, and one right over here. This one was always fed in the test, in the experiment in this video that I showed up in the screen. That one was always fed with foliar feeding of seaweed and fish, and you could really tell a difference when I walk up to it. They did not die in the winter, so, but you can see the growth that's coming out now. Let's see. Do you see the growth? So kind of short, 2 feet tall. This is the blueberries. Just fully producing. It's going to be a great blueberry year. It's going to be hundreds and hundreds of blueberries. I have about 8 plants. Here's the other Tamarillo. And this one's about 4 feet tall. You can see the growth right here. Nothing. It just died back on the top, as you can see. But nothing else died back. No damage to the bark or anything. And I have a lot of growth way below. Like these are, I'm assuming, going to be leaves right here. Way below. I'm going to let it all grow. That way it can have a lot of protection from the summer sun. The anise hyssop is coming in nice and lush. If you've never grown this herb, it's a great addition to tea. And eating fresh for me. Very beautiful. There's the anise hyssop. They'll get about 6 feet tall, maybe even 8 feet tall this year, like they did last year. And right next to it, across the path, is my French tarragon. These are 5 rooted bodies that I buried and coming up. So this is delicious as well. Anise flavor. Anise flavor. Speaking of hyssop, it's a huge plant, really good for sore throat. Do your own research though. I'm not a physician. But all of this is hyssop. Next to the Oregonum syricum Zaatar, right here. And I have a amazing video of this tree. This is a donut peach. This is the most prettiest flower of all, in my opinion. They're really big. Peach. You know, Saturn peach, donut peach, flat peach. You just see how large they get. What was that? Oh, dead bud. See how large they get? So I'll put this on the screen as well so you can see that previous video when a whole bunch of bees were pollinating. And I'm going to show you right now that this is the most vigorous and productive tree I have, and I have a lot of plants in my side, front, and backyard garden. So I'm going to pan to the right. 1, you're going to see Lulu if she's still standing there. And 2, pay attention how close-knit the peach flower clusters are. Watch this. Do you see how tight that is? Look at this. How many flowers on this little branch? And look all around, deep, of how much flowers. This is going to be completely pink, as you'll see in the video that I've showed up in the screen prior. You're going to see how beautiful this tree can get. Here's the Subel Sapote. Once again, does extremely well in the winter. The Vernon Sapote does not do that well. Subel doesn't care how cold it's gotten. It's gotten one time 26 degrees. Nothing phased it. No burnt tips. Some of the flower clusters fell off, but not really bad. We had about 30 degrees this year. Not too bad, but you can still see it's going to produce a lot of white Sapote for me this season. It's about, I would say, 6.5 feet tall. Takes a long time. If many of you are watching saying that's not a big tree, it takes, this is one of the slowest growing trees I have in my garden, if not the slowest growing in my garden. Indoors is the coffee tree, the coffee plant. Outdoor, it's the Sapote. If I have to think quickly, it would be the Sapote, yes. Slowest growing. So if you're going to plant one and you know of someone that has a big white Sapote tree that's like 20 feet tall, let's say, or 15 feet tall, it took probably, I want to say, decades to get to that size. If not 10 plus years, 15 plus years. In comparison, here's the Vernon. You can see the damage that it had during the light frost we had. So we had a few burnt tips. A lot of clusters died back. You can see. See how you didn't really see this in the Subel? And there's some right here. This had fruit on it. It died back. Died back. See the difference between this and Subel? So if you have a cold area, don't grow Vernon, grow Subel. But I grow Vernon so I can have cross-pollination with the Subel. Subel tastes better anyways. This tastes like banana custard, and this just tastes like really sweet pear, I would say. Now I'm panning over my Dapple Dandy Plutot. You saw it in the intro of this video. Just pom-poms of flowers. Here is the Star of Altai sea berry. Orange energy. You can see the difference in color on the leaves. And the male to pollinate these two females. My sour green Persian plum is still dormant. Oh, here we go, some growth. This is eaten unripe, a very small green berry. We usually put it with salt, sometimes red pepper, like cayenne pepper, but salt, and very delicious fruit tree. I'll put a link in the either description, or I'll put it on the screen that you can watch the video on this tree. Very delicious tree, very hard to find, and one of the, we call it in Armenian genetic, and I think Persian it's goji sabs, I believe. And but the reason why it's hard to find for many of you watching, if you're watching and you've always been looking for this tree, is because you don't know the English name to it, and the English name is green sour Persian plum. The purple tree collards are flowering again. I'll collect some seeds. They don't really show, the offspring of them don't really show much promise. They're just, this is the best. And when I do offsprings, like you see over here, they mix with some collards, they mix with some mustard green, but they still look like a purple tree collard, how it's walking on the floor or crawling on the floor like this. You see how it's crawling on the floor, but yet it does have that purple hue, but it's not as dark. You could see the difference right now. Do you see the difference in color? So it does have this, but then when they get mature, they get really dark purple. And these aren't doing that. So this is probably crossed with a collard that I planted here long ago. Figs are still dormant. This is a Kadota, one of the best tasting figs you could have. It's a yellow fig, yellow skinned, greenish yellow. It's still dormant. All my figs are still dormant. This is a new planting of a raspberry called Jewel Raspberry. It's a black raspberry, or dark colored. It's said to take the heat very well, so we're going to see how that does. Here's a newly planted Fuyu persimmon. I spent $120 on this tree. It's not a sapling. I mean, I guess it is a sapling, but it's not like your $20 trees you could buy bare root. This has been in a 15-gallon pot and previously produced fruit. So that's why I purchased it. As you can see right here. Well, you saw right there. But what I talked to the nursery from here. Yes, it is grafted down here to the rootstock, which is good. Fine. From here up is dead. It's all gone. But if I do scratch tests from this notch all the way down to the rootstock, this is Fuyu persimmon, and that's some rootstock. I don't know what it is, but this is the Fuyu persimmon right here. It's green. So I'm hoping these will push out some growth, because when you go above the notch, you'll see the same growth is dead compared to the base. Now here's one of my son's favorite and his friend's favorite, the Flavor Grenade Plutot. It is called a grenade in my opinion because extremely firm, stays firm for a long time, and when you bite into it, it explodes with like a lot of flavor, like a grenade. Like anytime anyone's ever tried one in my house, not store-bought, that's junk, fresh picked, they're so surprised with the crunch, and the acidic to sweet to sugar ratio is perfect. This is just a delicious Plutot. You can see it's going to be huge growth. I mean production this year. All the grapes are pushing growth too. You can see those nubs are getting larger and larger. There's 5 grapes all along, and they connect to the trellis I made. Now if I have to reinforce this trellis, I will, but at least something's there right now. Long ago we were going to sell this house, but we decided it's best we just keep it. So we're going to just stay here. But I wanted to take this Mexicola avocado because it did so well. So I chopped it really low. You can see here, another one there, and another one over here. You can see where I cut it. It used to be about 8 feet tall. So that stressed the tree a lot out, and that's why it kind of looks thin. But giving it some shade, painting every limb that I could see, and giving the nutrition, foliar feeding it as much as I could, it came back, and it's going to produce again this year. It's going to produce a lot of fruit. Here's some flowers right now that are about to open. But what I love is by cutting the top that I did, about 5.5 feet tall, it grew a whole bunch in the center right here, as you can see. And all of them are producing flowers, and a lot of the tips. So you can see another one right over here. I don't want to hurt anything. So I'll back up a little bit here so you can see it. So it's not too bad. You can see really thick over here. This is Zutano. This is basically to help cross-pollinate with the Mexicola, which it doesn't really need it, but I bought it anyways because I had a spot. This is referred to as one of the best tasting avocados. It's an edible skin as well. This is referred to as the least tastiest avocado. This is really watery. When you cut into a Zutano, you'll just see water dripping out of it. It's a little bit creamy, but nowhere near a regular avocado. You would eat it. You're not going to throw it away, but you're going to go to a Mexicola before, or a lamb hoss especially, before you eat a Zutano. The pears are doing really well. You see some growth here. These pears, what I love about pears, especially these varieties, Du Jour and a Bartlett. I hope I'm saying that first variety correctly, the name, but regardless, the reason why I like these pears is that they grow straight up. As you can see this one too. You see how it goes straight up? That's what I want, because I want to provide afternoon shade here. These are the moringas. This is a 3rd year in the ground moringa here. Really big base for where I am. I'll leave a link in the description and or somewhere up here a video on the moringa tree so you can watch that. And here's another moringa. This is the 2nd year in the ground right up here. So this was the most impressive to me because it grew the fastest out of all the moringas I've planted here. 2 moringas died off, so I just replaced them with pears. And here's Lulu. Time for a Lulu break. Come here. Lulu break. Lulu, say hi. Your face is getting brown, huh? It used to be black. When I got Lulu, my son went like this to the dog with both ears down. I go, what do you, come here, Lulu. She's like, what are you doing? I told him. He's like, I'm trying to fix her ears. Her ears keep going up by themselves. My little wolf. Look at this. This is the Lulu cam. What is she staring at? Who knows? She's gonna see something though. This is a guamuchil or guamuchi, known as like tamarandine or tamarind or Indian tamarind. It's sweet. I've had it before, not from this tree, but I've had it before. It tastes like raisin with nougat, I would say. Raisin and nougat mixture. So, really thorny. I really don't want to poke myself, so I'm going to watch my hand instead of the screen. But you can see right here how bad these are. So I removed everything from here down to make sure Lulu doesn't get zapped. Oh, great. She sees something. Or imagining something. See, she always pushes that fence. She's like, come to my trap so I can push the fence and push you over into my garden. This doesn't work, Lulu. Isn't that pretty with the almond and the plum in the background? Neighbor's plum. So what's going on with my lawn is that this is all Bermuda, and that's the rest of the tall fescue. So tall fescue soon will be choked out by the Bermuda. But the Bermuda, what sucks is it's dormant in the winter. It gets like this. The dog, especially if you have a dog and they like to roll around in it, it's going to be all in their fur. But in the summer, you don't have to worry about it at all. You don't even have to, I don't even water it, and it's fine. But tall fescue, like you're going to see, this is going to be green and lush, and in the summer, that's going to be brown. So it's vice versa, winter, summer. So let's take a look at the Cherimoya. Cherimoya, I had a love and hate relationship with this fruit tree. Two of my varieties died off. There was a El Bumpo and then a Chaffee. And the Chaffee died off because of a late frost. It was planted here where now there is a Sweet 16 apple right there. That's where the Cherimoya was. And I said, you know what? Let me get in a better spot because it might be able to survive if it doesn't get a lot of hot summer sun hitting that area, because all this is shade in the afternoon, all this location. So in the winter, I dug up the Cherimoya and put it here last winter. So now this is a full year in the ground, and it's doing really well. I mean, it's pushing growth right now. Let me see if I could show you. You see that little nub coming out? Leaves, and you can see here. See all those nubs? Perfect, beautiful. Newly planted lime, Persian lime, Egyptian walking onion here and over there. Sumac plant doing really well, staghorn sumac. It's going to grow robustly again, if that's a word, robustly, or is it just robust? Who knows? Here's my passion fruit. So you can see how it's like, if you thought braiding hair was hard, imagine how it braids this by itself. But you can see the growth coming out. So it's going to give me fruit next year, or this year, excuse me. It couldn't give me fruit last year because I planted it late and it got too cold too fast early on, and it just, died back from that, and the fruit died back. And two more here, another passion fruit over here. Here's a newly planted variegated elderberry. Very beautiful, look at that. I have a row of, basically I buy a papaya, I eat the papaya, scoop out the seeds, and I bury them. There's a new row here. And it got choked out by all the ashwagandha that was here. And I'll show a link up. I'll either put a link in the description on ashwagandha, or I'll put it on the screen right now on the ashwagandha plant and how I harvested, which is not a big deal. I just dug it up. But you'll see the ashwagandha was throughout here. And the reason why I'm speaking about that is because that plant got so large and never went dormant. It was supposed to go dormant and never went dormant, and it blocked out all the sun from my previous year papaya. See the papaya straight line keeps going. all the papaya. So basically, I dug a trench, put papaya seeds, and I dug another trench, and I put new papaya seeds over there. The heavenly white nectarine starting to push some flowers. This is a prune, and this is the Flavor Delight Aprium. I'll pan up right now slowly. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all that flowers. Look at all this. Let me get a better picture though. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful fruit. If you never had this, I'll link this in the description and or on the screen right now too. There's gonna be a lot of info on the screen. If I can't put that many videos in the video, meaning the links, that little I, that info, if I can't, then it'll be in the description. That way you guys go, that's a pretty tree. I wonder how it looks like. Well, there's tons of videos I've made about all these plants. Currently herbaceous, annual, perennial, fruit trees, berries, and so forth. About 240 plus plants, all different, that I have growing. Oh, finally the Parfait pomegranate's pushing growth. Here's one honeyberry right here. See it? This is 2 years in the ground. And this is 1 year in the ground. Here, ooh, it's pushing flowers. Because the previous one died back, or died off. Longevity spinach is pushing out a lot of new growth. And the Okinawa is doing just fine. Like, really, I'm surprised that the Okinawa is doing a lot better than the longevity, but I just saw something. Look how far the longevity is growing. This is longevity spinach. I planted it over there, so it grew all the way this way, a vine. So if you want an edible ground cover, Okinawa longevity spinach. You can see some more blueberries right now. And let's see if I can find any forming. Here's some right there forming blueberries. So while you're here, marjoram, Timbra spicata, which is a delicious Zaatar plant that's made for salad, not really drying. Summer savory, another different type of Zaatar plant. Thyme. Okay, all those are alkaline loving plants. As many of you know, blueberry, right here, all these, look at the misty right here. All these are acid-loving plants. So how are acid-loving plants surrounded by alkaline-loving plants? Because the wood chips over the years, the thick layer of wood chips that I've put here and continually to put new wood chips, have degraded. Now my soil is 7.0. It used to be 8 point something or even higher. It went off the charts. Now it's exactly at 7.0, or almost, excuse me. And the asparagus is doing really well as well. I'm glad for that. A lot of food. This is UC 157F1. And once again, the apples never went fully dormant again. I have 5 different apple trees, 9 or 10 different varieties, and I just ordered 2 variety scions from Fedco Seeds. A King David 8-inch scion and a Macintosh 8-inch scion. $5 each, I believe. Citronella plant, always lush as ever. I got to cut it back a lot because you can see how large it can get. Well, I hope you enjoy that backyard tour and side yard. The front yard, we'll do it at a different time. Want to say bye, Lulu? Want to say bye? You gonna get those squirrels? Look how big your nose is. Good girl. All right, everybody. Happy gardening.